Hello, I'm Tony and today we are taking a look at Evans Remains, a puzzle platformer free from Prime Gaming until early December 2023. I don't know when. They don't put when the offer stops on their website. We need to earn the free games, I guess. They want us all to do maths on dates. It's a test. Anyway, we are here to talk about Evans Remains. Now first off, it's not exactly what I'd call a puzzle platformer. It's really more of a story that has puzzle platforming bits added into it. The game gives you a skip puzzle option when you bring up the menu, so it kind of shows how integral the developers think the puzzles are. They don't need you to do them. I'll talk about puzzles in a bit. Let's talk about the graphics and sound first, like I always do. We are firmly in the pixely graphics indie game dev territory here. They look good, and the animations have quite an appealing quality to them. Unfortunately, I don't think they quite convey the beauty of the surroundings of the island location that the game takes place in, which are referenced in the story. The low pixel nature just doesn't cut it for me. They're nice enough, don't get me wrong. If it wasn't for the way the characters speak about how beautiful the scenery and amazing it is, I wouldn't have even thought about it. It's just a little disappointing not being able to see what the characters see. There is music, but I honestly couldn't have told you it was there without reviewing the footage. Between its sort of generic background track nature, the loud sound effects that kind of drown it out a lot of the time, and me concentrating on either the story or the puzzles, I barely noticed it. Listening back to it, it's fine. It's fine. The puzzles are all platforming puzzles, and there's no time sensitive one, and you don't need to be pixel perfect with your jumps. It's also simple controls. You can move and you can jump, and that's your lot. The game is pretty generous if you make a mistake. Any level that can be soft locked has a reset platform to take you back to starting config. The puzzles themselves revolve around a few types of platform. Most of the ones that you'll see, certainly at the beginning, are ones that disappear when you jump off them. Some turn these disappearing platforms on and off, and others allow you to teleport. Your goal is to jump over the big wall to the right. Later on, you get bouncing platforms and platforms that rearrange the other specialised platforms. I know it might sound confusing when I say it. In the game itself, you're introduced to them at a slow enough pace that you have time to understand each element, and it's not that hard to work most of them out. A few of them were thinkers that took a little bit of working out, but nothing like too strenuous and quite satisfying to solve. I thought a lot of them were a bit too straightforward. It's not the biggest workout for puzzle fans, I'd say. Now, the reason I said earlier it's not exactly a puzzle platformer is that the majority of the 3 or so hours it took me to complete the game was reading the story, which is an intriguing one, don't get me wrong. I did want to get to the end and find out what was going on, which obviously I'm not going to spoil here. There is an epilogue part that involved a couple more puzzles that I just didn't enjoy the whole scenario that much. I'm not sure why it was there. Don't feel it added anything to the story or the game. It wasn't that long. I don't know, it just wasn't for me. There are a couple of moments that raised a smile, usually some sort of meta jokes about video games in general. But at its core, this is an emotional story. And it did feel emotional to me, it landed. There are some unanswered questions in the story at the end that I feel a little bit cheated not getting to know. I guess it gives room for a sequel. It wasn't the biggest deal because it wasn't about the core story, it was about the background of a couple of characters, so I was still satisfied by the ending. I don't think there's much more to say about it. I can't say much without ruining the story. And as I said, the puzzle elements are simple. I enjoyed it though. If you go in wanting to solve puzzles, I think the amount of story will frustrate you. It's got to be 2/3 of the game. If you go in knowing it's really a story with puzzles, I think it'll work for a lot of people. And on that basis, and the fact that it's free for now, I'm going to recommend it. It usually goes for £5 on Steam, that's what it is at the moment, and I'd actually be okay with that too. Bit short, but fun, and a good story. On that rather short but rather positive note, I'm off. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.